Hello, everybody. Great to see everyone today. I'm especially thrilled about our office hours today, as I've got quite a bit of stuff that I'm looking forward to sharing with you today. If someone wouldn't mind dropping a message in the chat, just to let me know that you can both see what I'm showing on the slides, and that you can also hear me. We don't have a ton of people joining right off the bat, which is kind of normal because it's the very first thing we're doing with our very beginning of our office hours today. But yeah, just like to get a little bit of a feel, make sure that you can both see and hear me. Okay, with that, awesome. So Anthony, Bill, thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, so I have a lot of stuff that I want to share with you today. So let me go ahead and just start diving into this and make sure that everyone is aware of what's going on with this. So before we get started, my name is Andrew Connell. I am a Microsoft 365 developer. I go back 20 years in the SharePoint development and then everything related to Microsoft 365 development space. So I've lived in SharePoint since September 2003. I've done all the dev models, spent a lot of time with server-side farm trust solutions, partially trusted solutions, the SharePoint add-in model, which used to be called the app model. Done a lot of stuff with the SharePoint REST API, and lately spending a lot of time on the SharePoint framework for the last few years, where I have a course on that. I also spend a lot of time also around other areas of Microsoft 365, and lately that has been a lot more time related to building apps for Microsoft Teams, building apps for custom agents for Microsoft 365 Copilot, and SharePoint Embedded as well, or looking at exploring SharePoint Embedded as well. And for all of that, using Azure services under the covers. I'm a Microsoft MVP. I've been an MVP for 20 years, and I have a company called Voitanos where I publish all of my articles, webinars, and my and also a bunch of courses as well. In fact, I have I'm most excited today about what I get to share with you on the changes that are coming for my students of all of my courses. I've got some really big things that are changing with the company that I'm really excited about, that are actually changing this week. So I'm excited to show you a little bit of a preview of it and then let you know what you can expect in when you're going to get access to these things. Okay, so for those of you who are new to my monthly office hours, this is the way I generally like to cover it, although there's one exception today because I haven't exactly gotten any questions ahead of time. And also because it's kind of I'm using this as almost like a town hall as well. So what I like to do is at the beginning of this, I like to cover just some of the biggest news around the SharePoint framework, Microsoft Teams, and Microsoft 365 Copilot that Microsoft 365 developers should be aware of. I do the same thing also every 2 weeks in my biweekly newsletter for full stack Microsoft 365 developers. So if you're interested in that, if you go to my site or look in the description under this video, you'll see a link to the newsletter where you can subscribe for free. And every second Tuesday, so I sent one out actually about 10 minutes ago, you will get a big chunk of content of like some insights or my commentary on the latest news or something else. Like today, I had published 2 articles about how to get help when you need help as a Microsoft 365 developer. So it's something I've wanted to write for a very long time. I keep putting it off because I then get a question from someone that I think could have been better the way that it was asked. And I've never wanted to go through and publish this article right after someone posts that question because I don't want them to think I'm attacking them. Not attacking anybody. I'm just saying in general, hey, look, if you need help with something and you're stuck and you're going to ask for help, there's a couple pieces that you want to focus on. Number one, where's the best place to ask that question? And then number two, how I want to make the question as easy for someone else to consume to make it easy for them to be able to help me. Because almost all the time, and we're asking somebody to essentially donate their time to get help, to help me. And so by making sure that it's as easy as it can be for them to help me, it's got a better chance of me getting some help from someone. So I got 2 articles that were published on that, and you can check those out at my site. Now, I want to start off with a little bit of an update on the Microsoft 365 developer program. If you've been following me on LinkedIn, if you follow my articles, if you follow me on socials, this isn't an update today because I did post an update about a week ago from some stuff that I learned. So let me just give you a little bit of a heads up on this. So what's going on? And if you have a question, please feel free to drop it in the chat. I'm more than happy to answer any questions. So in the past, we used to have this thing called the Microsoft 365 developer program, and it still exists today. In 2022, Microsoft gave us the ability to create and obtain a Microsoft 365 tenant that we could use for development purposes, and it included a handful of licenses, of E5 licenses that we could use at no cost. Unfortunately, last January of 2024, so not this year, but the previous year, about 16 months ago, Microsoft got hacked. It was part of the Midnight Blizzard hack by a group called, a Russian state actor called Nobelium. And effectively, they got in through the dev program and created, thousands and thousands of tenants and sent out billions and billions of emails and actually used that as a way to hack Microsoft's email. What that did is that Microsoft had a reaction in the sense of what they did was they locked down those developer tenants, so they were no longer available to us. And then furthermore, and this is part of, it says on the slide here, the SFI. This is their Secure Future Initiative focus, which is a big focus last year. Well, they said that we would get an update around things would be coming back around September of 2024. That never happened. We kept asking Microsoft. We got very little information, just met with silence. So in an effort on my part, to kind of get Microsoft to re-engage, in early March of this year, about a month and a half ago, I published an article that is linked at the bottom of this slide. That was my proposal for how to address the challenge that Microsoft had, and then also how could they, what I think is a good solution for getting around that challenge. And it was, hey, just start charging us for a dev program. And I know a lot of people are like, I don't want to pay money for this. I'm like, I get it. But I mean, let's, cards on the table here. If we're building solutions for Microsoft 365, which is primarily an enterprise product, frankly, we don't have a cost associated with doing development normally, right? We still have we pay for our internet service, we pay for our computer, we pay for maybe hosted services. But when it comes to Microsoft 365, I mean, I think that Microsoft saying, hey, you got to spend $100 a year in order to be able to build solutions and get your own tenant for Microsoft 365, I personally don't think that's that big of a deal. It's a cost of doing business. And of course, that price would be all based on or indexed on the US dollar, and then it can maybe fluctuate or change based on exchange rates and GDP and all that kind of stuff around the world. So it would be cheaper in countries like India or Brazil, but the max it would be $99. That kind of goes along with what like Apple charges for their developer program. If you want to build an app for iOS and you want to publish it to the store, you have to pay for a developer program or developer account that is good for 1 year. So granted, there's a lot of other companies that don't charge for it, like Salesforce, Google, Amazon, or AWS, but I mean, just something. Well, as part of that it was also to get people's attention and to get other people to comment on that post and essentially say, how has this lack of a dev program affected you? I took all of your feedback, and a couple of weeks ago, Microsoft held the Global MVP Summit, which is an annual event at Microsoft where MVPs are invited to come and have NDA level conversations with Microsoft. Now, I can't share exactly what was discussed there because it's all under a non-disclosure agreement. And the screenshot on the left, you will find that on the article that is linked at the bottom of this slide. And it's basically just a summary of what I'm about to tell you, okay? So I can only go so far into what I'm going to share with you. And all I can tell you is trust me and read between the lines on what I'm saying. And if you do trust me, then I think that, well, I just hope that you trust me with this. And so it's the most I can say. I raised the issue to Microsoft. I had an opportunity. It was in an auditorium, about 400, maybe 300, maybe 200, maybe 500. I don't know. It was a couple hundred people that were in there. I was point blank and I asked the question. And I even said something along the lines of, I think Microsoft owes us a public response, or at least to address this issue publicly, because we're all just kind of waiting in the wind and saying, are they coming or are they not? And it was cool. It was reinforcing, or I felt justified when I finished the question and I got a kind of a bit of a round of applause from the people from the other attendees in the room. Now I can't tell you what Microsoft said, but what I can tell you is what my takeaway was from this and what my feelings are, and I will let you kind of read between the lines. I trust the person that responded to it. I've known them for a very long time at Microsoft. That person is in a position of authority. I'm not going to name who it was. If you look at my posts on LinkedIn where I've commented on this, you might be able to figure it out based on reactions or comments that they've had, that they posted on my LinkedIn posts. Let me not say however. That's kind of like walking back. I trust that person. They are in a position to make change, and I appreciated what they said, both being very honest and direct, and what the commitment was back to my question about making a public statement. My takeaway from this is that I feel I'm happy with the response that I got, or I'm satisfied with the response that I got. Not saying I'm getting what I want. Like, hey, we want the dev tenants back. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that they recognize the issue. They recognize that, and I'm happy that they take it seriously. And I personally am looking forward to having a public statement from Microsoft. Again, this event was in late March, and I said sometime in the next month. So I would expect to see something by probably the end of April. I would be very disappointed and surprised if we didn't see anything by one of the next two big events that Microsoft has, where 365 is a big deal. One of those being the M365 Community Conference in Las Vegas, the first full week of May, and the Microsoft Build Conference in Seattle in late May. So as a little footnote, if you're going to the Microsoft 365 Community Conference, drop something in the chat. Let me know. I've got a workshop on day one talking about building declarative agents for Microsoft 365 Copilot, and a breakout session later that week as well, which actually is a webinar that I'm delivering for free on my site about SharePoint Framework hidden gems and stuff. I'm delivering that on Thursday of this week. So if you go to my site, voitanos.io, go to the webinars, you'll see one of the next, there should be two events that are listed, depending on when the site rebuilds itself next. One of them is this office hours. The very next one is the one on Thursday. So if you go later this afternoon or tomorrow morning, you might see the top level one is the one for Thursday, which is my hidden gems and tips and tricks. So that's where we are. Maybe we'll get something even before that. Who knows? But I'm satisfied that we're making some progress. All right. So all I can say is just hang in there. We're going to get some more info. I'm not saying that when they make that public statement that they're going to tell us everything that's going on. But I do expect a public statement. I'll just leave it at that. All right. I see TS says if it's helpful, Microsoft does allow for dev subscription tenants for users with Visual Studio Professional or enterprise licenses. The license is more expensive than what I'm proposing. It is, you're correct. There are also other options as well, like ISV programs or something like that. Even if you do have one of those licenses, I've talked to many developers, like hundreds, who tried to get one of those tenants through a Visual Studio subscription. They have trouble, and when they contact support has no idea what they're talking about, and they send them to the developer program who never responds. So I made sure that was very clear when I asked my question to Microsoft. So at any rate, I'll leave it at that. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about SharePoint Framework. This slide, nothing new from last month. The current state of the SharePoint Framework, we are on version 1.20 of the SharePoint Framework Yeoman Generator. I have a link where I did an unboxing to that. This is very old now, very long in the tooth. I'm not going to go over this because it's old and there's no news here. What is news, though, is the next version, which should be coming, I would expect, I say the next 3 weeks because I expect that to land before the community conference in the first week of May, the M365 community conference in May. So I'm saying next 3 weeks. I actually expect it a lot sooner than that because last week they just released the most recent a release candidate version of it. The three main things we'll see here, there are two big infrastructure things, and then the rest of it is like, meh, there's not much here. The two minor updates is they are saying, as part of this release, they now support flexible layouts for web parts with that new support that we have in SharePoint. You don't need the new version of the SharePoint Framework for this. This was just a change that they made to a schema file that they host that is not versioned. If you go to your web part manifest, that stuff exists today. So you don't even need to upgrade your version of the SharePoint Framework to get this to work. The other one was about card configuration for dashboards. Tiny little thing as far as I'm concerned. The big thing, though, is that they are bumping the support for Node up to version 22, Node version 22. And by doing that, they're skipping Node version 20. 18 is no longer in support. So effectively, the 1.21 version of the SharePoint Framework, when it ships, the only supported version of Node is version 22 of Node when it ships. They are also, big update here, they're bumping the version of TypeScript to version 5.3. That's a big deal. And the reason why it's a big deal is because we've been stuck on, I believe it's 4.7.4, which is very old. So what's the big deal with 5.3? Well, a lot of things that we use, a lot of dependencies that we may be using, they depend on a more recent version of TypeScript. So that's a big deal. Those are the two big things that I think that I'm looking forward to this. I've been looking forward to this because of Node version 22 and TypeScript 5.3, because that's going to allow me to do a bunch of upgrades to some samples in my course, specifically around testing. Okay, that's SharePoint Framework stuff. I don't see any questions in the chat, so I'm going to move on. The next one's around Microsoft Teams. They made a really big update with the Visual Studio Code extension, Teams Toolkit extension for Visual Studio Code in March. They gave us an ability to switch tenants more easily. So if we're logged into 365 in one tenant, and I've logged into another tenant before, make it very easy for me to kind of jump around. They also have a bunch of improvements around declarative agents. So there's an easy way for us to add capabilities to our agents. There's an easy way for us to manage the authentication with our agents. They're including the API key authentication. And there's also an adaptive card preview tool that for adaptive cards we're using in our agent for like little previews when you get the citations that show up in the summary results. They also have had some additional stuff that they've added to GitHub Copilot as part of the Teams Toolkit March 2025 example or release, which is giving us more support for Teams-based development when I'm using the Teams Toolkit. Apologies for the on and off coughing today. I've got, I had a head cold about 2 weeks ago, and of course it's in my chest, and so I'm still trying to clear that stuff out. So apologies, but we've all been there. Okay, another really big update. This is nice. Is the ability to use an existing Intra ID app versus where we were in the past. We always had to create a brand new app. This is big. I had a recent article that I published for people who are using Teams app development in a GCC environment or GCC high. And I had to show you how to remove the app out of the toolkit. This will be nice because when you create it, there'll be a way for us to specify which one to use. Today, I've just had to say, well, you can't use it, so there's just have to rip the whole thing out. This is going to make it a little bit easier, though. Another thing, too, is the ability to also plug in your Open API key for debugging. Now, another really big update, and this isn't an update yet, but my understanding was that this was supposed to be private, but it's not private anymore. The Teams Toolkit is getting renamed. And you can see from the screenshot I have here that I took on the public NPM registry that the Teams Toolkit is being renamed to the Microsoft 365 Agents Toolkit. You're like, wait a minute, what am I using for Teams? You're still using Teams. I first noticed this when the Teams Toolkit CLI last week, the most recent release last week, when you did a help command on the CLI, you got a big yellow message at the top that was saying, hey, this is going to get deprecated in the future. Make sure you go install the new package. When it's available, it's not available yet, but make sure, heads up, it's going to get renamed. So it was like, okay, it's going to get renamed. I actually went to go run it yesterday when I went to go update my slides for today's office hours, and that message is gone. So it looks like they have somebody said, hey, this isn't supposed to be public yet. Well, it was public for a little bit, and now it's gone from the latest version of the CLI. But if you go to the repo where they do all the stuff with the Teams Toolkit, and you search through the commits, the latest commits, you see lots of references to a new CLI called the M365 Agents Toolkit-CLI. And if you go to that URL in the Teams in the NPM registry, you will see what I'm showing you here. Now, what's interesting about this is that if you go to that page today and you scroll down, you will see everything talks about the Teams Toolkit, including the links will still point to the repo and the homepage for the Teams Toolkit CLI. I would have expected this announcement to happen either at the M365 Community Conference in May in Vegas, but I really expected it actually to happen at Microsoft Build in late May. It's still very preview. You can see there from the version number, it shows it's alpha. But I think Microsoft screwed up, and I don't think that the left hand was talking to the right hand, and some people have been working in public, and so it's easy for us to see what it is, and it's no longer secret. Okay, so that's an update around Teams. Copilot, a lot of really cool stuff. They added a lot of improvements around debugging. So there's some debugging stuff that's going to show up inside of the Teams Toolkit, or the future named M365 Agents Toolkit. There is so there's a bunch of stuff when you go to debug it, you'll see a bunch of debugging information come out that'll be inside of inside of the actually let me jump back really quick here. I wanted to leave a link for you. Let me give you, so I have a couple links to share with you in the chat. So this, if it will let me, there, okay. So I want to grab this one and post this in. So this is the TTK for VS Code March update. So that link right there that I just posted in the chat will take you to the March update. If you want to see the new Agents Toolkit and how I found this thing as being public, so TTK is getting renamed to M365 Agents Toolkit. And there are two links that I just posted. One is for the NPM package that I just mentioned on this slide. And then I have one more link I'll show you here, and this is for all the development stuff. Let's see, what's it called? This was the M365 Copilot Debugging Experience update. So 3 links there. So these are where I found these different things. So you can grab all those links. These are links that I share like in my newsletter as well. So I make sure that you don't have to just wait every month for this, that I do this in my newsletter that comes out every 2 weeks. So again, it's going to have some nice integration with VS Code. It also has a way for you to have a little more insights into your agent's configuration, like the capabilities of the agent, the knowledge scopes that it has. So for example, graph connectors, etc., and also details around the actions. It's also got improved, they've taken the link down. Are you kidding me, Naval? Okay, sorry, Narav. Sorry, apologies, Narav. Well, I got the screenshot before they shut it down. Go to the second link that I share with them about the commit that's in there. Is that in that link? Nope, it's not in that link. Let me go back and grab that link. Let me grab that link for the commit for you. See this commit. There. So if you can go to that GitHub link that I just posted, that will show you where you can see where the name has changed. So it looks like their left hand's not talking to the right hand. Whoops. Also, So the next thing is, so again, like improved execution and performance monitoring lets us see like success and failure details. When things are executed, we can see like how decisions were made to go to this agent versus another agent. Sorry, this action versus another action. Will also show us plugin response times. It says API plugin response times. That's not what I mean. They're action response times. So when an action calls an API, and that API has to be use the Open API spec or the OAD document, Swagger, for the orchestrator, for the Microsoft 365 Copilot orchestrator to understand how to call that endpoint. So that'll give us a little bit more details about how it made certain decisions and what the response time was. Because if our APIs are slow, that makes Copilot slow, and we can see like, are we the problem or is it Copilot the problem? And then it gives us a couple observability and troubleshooting tools as well, like the agent AI, or the agent's ID, the conversation ID for tracking details, and then also like what the latency information is as well. Okay, I don't see any questions here. I want to get in now. If you do have any questions, post them in the chat, and I'm happy to answer them. But now I want to do something a little more fun. And I want to show you something I've been working on for a long time that is all going to be public in 3 days on Friday. So a lot of you who are, I guess, in the Christian faith, Friday's a big deal. It's Good Friday because Easter's this weekend. For Voitanos, and for me, I hope it's going to be a very good Friday. So let me show you what's going on. And there's a reason why I did it on Good Friday, because I know that a lot of people take the day off as a holiday. So let me explain kind of what's going on with this. I started in about the summer of last year with a new idea and the push to kind of reinvent Voitanos. So you're not going to lose anything in terms of still fundamentally the same company. I just wanted to be able to do more than what I was doing. And the current tools and the messaging and the site and everything, a lot of stuff was holding me back. So I started on this long path. Small business, myself, so it takes some time to get this done. And still be able to make money. And still be able to sell stuff and teach classes. Like I'm starting a new Microsoft Teams accelerator tomorrow. I recognize two of the names in the chat of two people who are going to be joining me. One is a former student, hey Dax, and one is a student who's joining me this week as well. So if you are interested in doing that, I sent out a big email to everyone who has shown interest in team stuff with a special offer. If you want to register for this program, or if you want to learn more about it, I'm happy to talk about it too at the end. But anyway, let's focus on this. So this started out, and it was kind of like I did one thing, and then I realized that meant that something else had to be done, and then the formulation of like what I want to do with the business started to come together. And what it's resulted in is a 4-wave rollout. So wave 1 happened in October of 2024. So what that was, and let me kind of jump over to oh man, you just saw a preview of what the new experience is going to look like. Let's do this one. Come on. Let's just how do I get on full screen with this? All right. So the first one was something that happened last year, and that's when in October of last year I launched like a new brand. And this, I get it from the outside, this looked tiny, right? Wave 1 was basically a new logo. So you can see our new logo up here. The whole idea was for the company to be more about concepts made clear, which is this would be like this blurry thing is like, I'm learning some stuff, but I'm a little confused. How does this all stuff kind of come together? And the line goes to clarity. So the circle there. So concepts made clear. It also was a new font that I used throughout all of my stuff, the website, everything, and some, let's just call them taglines. And you see that if you go to like the homepage of the site, where it's about being an expert in the Microsoft 365 ecosystem. That's my mission. That's what I want to do. And so that involves like SharePoint Framework courses, Teams courses, Copilot courses, webinars, presentations, resources, you name it. So that was what I did back in wave 1. wave 2, so that was all wave 1 about concepts made clear, introducing a brand, the new brand. And then, what happened to the other one? Was that, did I do that out of order? I did. Okay, so this was concepts made clear was, hey, this is the new brand back in August. Then in March for this, Nirav, you're going to find out in just a minute. The website in March of this year, so last month, I launched a brand new design for the website. So worked with a really good web designer. A lot of interviews involved in this, a lot of discussion about him really trying to take the brand that my branding person came up with and how we could make it change the website to better reflect this. And I think that, he did an absolutely bang out job. So all of this is now done. Got even cool features here where you can do focus mode. If you're on a page, it's got big images and code. You can see stuff where you can go into focus mode and go back out. A lot of those pop-ups are gone that used to be there. So whole bunch of stuff. If you want to learn more, there's stuff on the site that kind of talks through it. Okay, but that's not the end. In fact, that's just halfway through, because wave 3 is probably the website's probably the biggest change for everybody to see. And that I saw in Nirav, you asked about that. How's the site done? So basically, the business is runs on two things. There's a learning management system or membership, course management, e-commerce to buy the courses. That's all one side. The other side is the public-facing website. That's voitanos.io. That is all done using Hugo and hosted in Azure, and built and automated and everything using GitHub. Now, so that is still all using Hugo. Absolutely love Hugo. Now, the other thing that I've got here I'm really pumped about is what's going to happen with the new student experience. So this is my LMS, my back end of the company, completely changing. And not only is it going to open up new options for me, it's got a ton of new features for you, those of you who are students of my classes, of which I recognize a couple of your names here in the chat. So that is launching this week. In fact, I'm doing a little bit of last minute touch-ups on this and to finish it up. Some of the people who are in my Teams Accelerator, actually all the people who are in my Teams Accelerator cohort that starts tomorrow, they're already in because they were kind of like my guinea pigs in getting in. And we're going to deliver the 2-month course in this new experience. So I was like, let's get you guys in first. And then I'm going to bring over the thousands of other students on Friday. Just know that this is not all. This is basically teeing up for what my vision is for the business and what I want to do. So that's coming in with wave 4. Oh, Joe, awesome. Thank you. So Joe's another one of my former Accelerator students who's also joining us this week. And he got in this morning. I saw your account come through, Joe. So thanks for accepting the invite. And thanks for that feedback right there. I appreciate it. You're still seeing the early piece. It's going to get better. You moved into the house. We're still moving some appliances in. We're still painting. We're still putting carpet down. But we got electricity. The plumbing works, so you can still get a shower, use the restroom, and sleep just fine. All right. So enough of that. Let's go into this. Let me start unpacking this, and let me give you a little tour of what you're going to find. So what's an overview of Wave 3? So the idea behind Wave 3 is to consolidate my student experience. Today, I have a very fragmented experience. Today, you log in to your course library, which is at courses.voitanos.io, to consume all of your courses. But when I was, Adam, I'm going to get to that in just a minute. When I would hold an accelerator, we would do a whole bunch of stuff over in Teams. It wasn't a great experience, right? I admit that. Frankly, the platform that I've been on and that I'm on today, and that will change on Friday, it's what I started with back in September of 2017 when I launched the business. And I was going for simplicity on my side. I didn't want to code a bunch of stuff up. I wanted to be able to essentially make sure that the business would run while I could focus on the content. And that worked great. I mean, it hosted my website and it also hosted the back end as well. The first thing to go was to pull the website out and to have that be separate from where you got your courses. And I can't remember when I did that, but I did that pretty quick. The problem though is that this platform that I've been using, it's gotten to be long in the tooth. They have not innovated the same way that the competitive market has innovated. And it has been holding me back from doing a lot of stuff. The commenting feature for lessons was pretty crappy. You used a third-party control that injected a ton of JavaScript trackers in your browser, and a lot of my customers did not like that. I didn't like it either. So we pulled all of the questions that you could ask in courses, and we moved those over to Discord, Discord server. That's where the community experience was. But quite frankly, as much as I like Discord, it hasn't been well adopted. In fact, less than 2% of my students have enrolled or connected their accounts and used Discord on the server. Use the Discord server. They're called Discord servers. It's like a Discord community for Voitanos. So I haven't been very happy with that. It's also like you've got one login to Discord, you got one login to get to your courses. It's fragmented. So my goal was, number one, consolidate and make it a single experience so it's easier for my customers to consume and to interact and to interact not only with their peers and me, to not only get their content that they want, but also it's going to be a better place to be a resource and a single place for you to ask questions, to engage, etc. And a lot of people couldn't even use Discord. Some people didn't even like it because they found it hard to use. It's primarily for gamers, but it's also got a good showing in like the dev space as well now. But a lot of people had a hard time like using it. A lot of my customers weren't allowed to use it because it's considered like a gaming thing, so they couldn't use it at work. So they would only ask their questions on like their phones, or they'd wait until they could post their questions at when they got home. That's a crappy experience. I admit it. It's a crappy experience. The other thing too is that when you want to go through and consume your courses, you only could do it through the web app that was available to us. So I wanted to be able to open that up. If you've got a tablet or if you've got a phone, I wanted to give you a way to go through and to get to your content that way as well. And then finally, I needed it to unlock all of these things that I wanted to be able to do with Voitanos and to be able to satisfy and deliver on what my mission is. And that is to make you an expert in the Microsoft 365 ecosystem, so you are an irreplaceable individual in your organization and to your customers. So here are the implications, the big high-level implications. I'm going to get through more of this. You can post your questions in the chat, but if I don't answer them right away, it's because I'm going to go through the slides first and then show you the demo, and it's probably going to answer that stuff. The big implication here is that the course library is retiring. Don't worry, you're not going to lose access to anything. Well, at course library you will, but at courses.voitanos.io, that will no longer work coming up very, very soon. And then I'll delete that account, the account that I have with that company. But that URL will redirect to a info page on how to get access. That's one. So the course library it will be retired. The other thing is that we are going to retire the Discord server for the Voitanos community. I will talk more about that in just a bit, but that's going away as well. They are being replaced with something called Circle. Circle, you can learn more about the platform, circle.so, on their website. But it's effectively, Circle is a place for delivering courses, both pre-recorded courses, self-paced courses like my Mastering the SharePoint Framework course, for live courses like my accelerators or my group coaching programs, for private coaching, which is another service that I offer my customers, and a whole lot of other stuff as well. So we're moving everything to that new, I'm moving over to everything that new experience. And it's not just a web app, there's also desktop apps that go along with it. And all of this is going to be in one spot. So let me kind of walk through a little bit of this. What is changing? You're going to access the new Voitanos community or the student experience at learn.voitanos.io. Now, this is going to be available to all students of my courses. So one thing that's different is that in the past, I let anybody join my Voitanos community on Discord, but students had special channels that only they could access and ask questions. Unfortunately, I can't do that. And the reason why I can do it, but I've chosen not to. The reason why is because if you're a student of one of my courses and you've bought one of my courses or you've enrolled in one of my free courses, I owe you my attention. I have a commitment to you. And I have a bigger commitment to you than answering questions from people who have not enrolled in my courses. And this is one of the reasons why I published these 2 articles today on my site, which were the basis of my newsletter. One of those articles was, how do you ask a good question? That's one I've wanted to write for a while. But the second one was, when you've got a question, where should you go? And I wanted to tell you that, hey, look, you can kind of read between the lines here, but it's my priority is answering questions and interacting with my students in the new Voitanos community. And then if I have spare time, or for the time that I have set aside to help people in the community as part of giving back, these are the forums where I like to go do that. So if you want to learn more about where I like to go do that, that's where, go look at the Voitanos articles, and you'll find that as being the most recent post that I've published. That's just at voitanos.blog. So like I said, you're going to have an ability to use a web app and a mobile app. You don't have to use a mobile app. So if you are an existing student, this is where, just like with the course library, you're going to watch all of your existing courses. When you get onboarded, when your account gets onboarded and migrated to the new platform, you will see all of your old content. It'll all be there. I'll come back to that in a bit. This is also where you're going to be able to ask questions on individual lessons in the courses. So if you are watching a lesson on a specific topic and you have a question about that specific topic, drop a comment on that lesson. I'll see it, I can answer it, and you can see other people's comments as well. If you have questions that are not directly related to a specific lesson or that are related to lots of lessons, as long as they're like Microsoft 365 development related or tangentially related to that, we, instead of Discord where we had lots of channels to choose from, we have one channel, one place in our new community called Discussions and Questions. You post your question there. These are called spaces in Circle. You're going to post your question to Discussions and Questions. You will be required to tag it with what it is applicable to. So things like SharePoint Framework, SharePoint REST API, Microsoft Teams, Microsoft Copilot, 365 Copilot, SharePoint REST API, Microsoft Graph, Azure AD, or Microsoft Azure. And then there's some other there's an other category as well. But you will have to put at least one thing there. And that will allow people to filter based on what your question is about, so they can see if they can help or they're looking for something. There is going to be another channel or another space that is, think of it kind of like the chat that we have here in the office hours, or like old school Twitter. I guess current day Twitter /X or X Twitter is like that as well, or Blue Sky. It's basically just a social chat. That's for like informal stuff. So if you have a question, fine, but it's really more of like, I'm going to the water cooler, getting a coffee. People over there, we're just talking. Great place to go hang out and do have a chat if we're all like going to watch a live stream together from like a keynote at a conference, stuff like that. I've got a lot of plans for how I want to be able to use that. But you got those two places are the places where you're going to be able to ask your questions and stuff, aside from questions in the actual lessons. You're also going to be able, there's a whole event section where you're going to be able to learn about and attend public or student-only events. So for example, there is already an event set up, a recurring event set up for this office hours that happens once every third Tuesday of the month. And you can RSVP to it. You can post questions ahead of time. You'll be able to get a link to the recording, and you'll get a reminder and a calendar invite that you can add to your calendar, and you'll get an email notification like before it starts. I don't know if anybody that joined my accelerator did that, but I did that. I was getting a notification yesterday that, hey, office hours starts in 24 hours. And then I got one about an hour before I started the office hours today and got that as well. All right. Next thing here. So let's take a look at what this looks like. You guys want to see it? Who wants to see it? Anybody interested? In the chat? Okay, cool. So let's go through and let's take a look at this. So I'm going to jump over to my demo machine here, and let's take a look at what this is. Now, this is, you might see some people's names here, and I know I hope I don't have to go through and like hide them. I'm gonna do my best to kind of hide it from people, but here's what it looks like when you get into the community here. So this is the start place. So what you're gonna find here on the left-hand side, if you've never used Circle before, these are all of the Circle communities that I'm in. So these are other ones that I'm in, and I can see this red dot, kind of like how Discord worked. I can see the red dots are where there's notifications that I haven't read yet, and how I can join other communities. Some are open, some are closed, etc. But the Voitanos one will show up right up here. In this logo up here at the top, I'll show you some stuff you see from this in just a minute. But on the left-hand side is where all of your spaces are. So if you're a Teams person, these are like channels. So the feed that you see is the first thing that you're going to come to. This is kind of like pulling content that you have access to from all over the entire community, and it's going to post it here in a chronological space. So if I look at feed, I created a post called the suggestion box where you can post your suggestions anonymously, and it's got an embedded form in it. But this is where you can go through and you can actually, like, you got a suggestion for the community, send it to me anonymously or live. Here's another place where you can see where someone posted an introduction into the introductions channel, introducing themselves when they joined. Here's another one of my students for the accelerator, and then here's my introduction as well. So videos in there, you can do text. It's totally up to you how you want to do this. So these different spaces, based on the course that you've enrolled in, you're going to have access to different things. So the orange stuff at the top, everyone's going to have access to it. You're going to see a lot more stuff on the left-hand side that's going to give you a little bit of a preview on stuff I'm planning on. But you're not going to have access to all of that stuff. You're only going to see things that you have access to. So for example, if you go to start here, you want to get the most out of, and this is an admin view, so apologies. When start here is a course. It's a course about the accelerator, it's a course about the community. So I've got a whole section on onboarding and accessing your content, settings. How do I manage my notifications? Saving for later. There's a mobile app. Where do you get the mobile app? If I scroll all the way down here at the bottom, there's the Android app and there's the iOS app for Circle. How do I save something for later? You can save a comment. You can on a post. You can save an entire post. You can save an event. You can save a lesson in a course. You can save all of this, and all these things are going to be available up here in your little bookmarks of things that you've saved. When you want to go watch a lesson, you just click into the lesson. Here's your video. It's going to show up right here for your lesson. You can watch it. Sometimes there's notes below the lesson as well. You can ask a question about it. So right now I'm on the curriculum page on the tab on the right-hand side, showing me all the things. I can jump to different lessons like the rules and expectations. This one doesn't have a video with it. It's just all text. But I can mark it as complete once I've actually watched it. Here, so with this one, let's say I had a question. Well, I could save the lesson and bookmark it, or I can open up the comments and I could drop a comment here if I have a question about something. So cool little things you can add with this. Let me jump back out of start here. So that course is, let's see, go here. So some of you have already been through this. I'm still working on a couple other pieces to this. A lot of the recordings that are here right now are actually all of the recordings are all going to get replaced. I just want to make sure I had something there in case they don't get done. They don't get re-recorded by Friday when we go live with this. So that's just a general course that everyone has access to. We have a whole section here for announcements. This is where I can post announcements and you can go consume these announcements. You also, like when there is an announcement, you can click on it and then you'll be able to, like this one you can't do anything with, but you'll be able to react or comment on that announcement. So maybe it's a new event. Maybe there's a new thing in the community that is brand new that I'm announcing. Maybe there's a new course, whole bunch of stuff. Make sure I get through all these. There's a section for introductions. This is where I recommend after you've gone and done start here, go to introductions, introduce yourself. There's a whole page here for events. So this is a list of where you can find all of your events that are coming up. So here's that webinar I'm doing on Thursday. So this is on my public website, but I'm also going to post them in here so that you can add calendar events to remind yourself and stuff that's going on. This is going to be a view of all of the events that you have access to. So for example, this is my, I'm not listed as a student. So if I was listed as a student, which right now apparently I'm not, in the accelerator that's starting tomorrow, I would see all of those events in my calendar. I also, here's where I can go through and do the discussions and questions. So this is the main place where you can ask questions. This is cool. This content editor that you have to post your question, you can do a title, you can write something. There's even a whole embed section where you can embed things like videos, gists from a GitHub gist, images. There's all kinds of stuff. So like if I scroll down here, you can see all these different things that I can embed from, different videos, something from Twitter, you name it, all over the place. And this is not a complete example. There's actually, like if I choose embed, you'll see there's 1,900 things that they support. I could add a cover image to this post if it made sense. I don't have to, but then full formatting everything. And then this one, I've got to choose one of the topics for what this post is about. There is a whole section in the, there's a whole video in the start here about, let's go here, about create great posts, where I walk through all the things that you can do with this. So it's about 9-10 minutes long, but it shows everything that you can do. And a lot of these that just have videos will have text under them too when I get to it, when I get to it, hopefully later this week. Okay. Oh, in the social chat, this is like that, just a stream of content that's going through here. So this is where I'd find anybody that's in the community and see who's currently online. So I can see Dax and Joe are currently online. They're both here in the office hours. And so if one of them posted something, I could react to what they said, or I could even just save that chat message. So if I save like what Andy said, I look here at my bookmarks and I look at messages, because that's in the social chat. There I can see the message that I just saved, and I can always jump back to it later, or I can go ahead and remove it. Now, so I showed you what the course experience looks like. So for example, if I'm a student of my Mastering the SharePoint Framework course, here's all the content from the SharePoint Framework course. I'll be able to go into each one of these, watch the video, scroll down, I can see the notes, and I can see a whole bunch of other stuff associated with it, all of the lessons associated with it as well. Okay, now a couple of things I want to show you. Take a look at the top navigation here. So home takes me straight back to the home page, which is the feed. If I go to courses, now you're going to see a lot more here than I can see a lot more here, because a lot of stuff hasn't been published yet. So this is a list of all of the courses that are available, that are in the community. You will see the ones that you have access to, like where it says secret. That's one that, like, that's something from an accelerator. You won't see that in the left-hand navigation, but you will see it. And you won't see it here unless you've been added to that thing. So, like for example, my cohort that starts tomorrow for my Teams accelerator, that is inside. There's a course called Latest Cohort Content. I'm not going to go through how that works just yet right now, because that's going to be in the start here, and plus it's only really available to the students that are in the cohort. So they've already seen, they have an orientation video that they were able to take a look at. But this is a whole bunch of courses and stuff that I'm working on, or that I've published. More will come here. I can go look and I can just see the courses. These are all the courses, or I can just see what are the ones that I have access to. Furthermore, if I go to events, I can see a calendar of all the events coming up. So I can see here are all of the accelerators that I am involved in, that I do have access to over here on the in my community. I can see them as a list. I can see them as a calendar, or I can see them as thumbnails like this. I thought that would be the list view. Oh, there you go. There's the list view. So I can see a list view showing up like this. Furthermore, if I go to home, you'll see on the left-hand side, here's all of the upcoming events that I have access to, and then also trending posts by different people in the community. Obviously, there's not a lot of content there yet because I haven't migrated the thousands of students over. What else do I want to show you? Oh, a member list here. So this is kind of cool. So here's a list of all the members that are currently in the community. Now, I'm going to show you something. I'm not going to, and yes, you see me here twice. Ignore that. But I want to show you something that's kind of cool about this, the community. So I'm going to go to my profile. And when you look at my profile here, I want you to notice a few things you'll have access to. So you can put in your email address. You have the option to make that visible or hidden to the rest of people in the community. You can make your entire profile hidden where people can't even see you. You can turn on and off if people have the ability to send you a DM in the community, right? You can block that or you can turn that on. This is where I can send this person a DM. So that's what this little chat is up here. If I do this, I can send a DM to a specific person, and that's just one-on-one kind of communication back with me. But if I look at my profile again, you can see I have a heading. I've got some tags up here. So whenever I post content, you're going to see 2 or 3 tags and then a plus that shows additional ones. So you'll easily be able to see, is this person in the community, are they an MVP? Do I consider them an expert on Copilot or an expert on Azure or an expert on SharePoint or an expert on Teams? Has this person been in the SharePoint Framework Accelerator? Has this person been in the Teams Accelerator? These are all different tags that I've added to people. You can then go in and update the rest of your profile. How do you find stuff? This is, a lot of these fields are completely optional to submit, to enter in, but I went through and I put all of mine in for you to see them. So Instagram, LinkedIn, some social stuff, there's GitHub, what's your experience level? Some of these, you see this is like hidden. These things are not, those won't show up for you. Don't worry about that. This is if you are an MVP, you put your profile URL in here and I'll go validate it and then I'll give you that MVP tag. I also have the ability to go in and there's private stuff too. So if I edit my profile, you'll notice that I can disable direct messaging. So nobody could DM me. Yours is going to look a little different when you edit your profile because when you scroll down, there'll be a section where you can say, I'm admin, so I can see a lot more. But there'll be a section where you can say, should my email be visible or not? Should people be allowed to DM me or not? And should my entire profile show up in the profile directory, or do I just want to be somebody that buys a course and consumes it, but I don't want to be a community person and have people see that I've registered? It's totally up to you when you create your account. Okay, that's your profile. What is the other thing I wanted to show you? Oh, notifications. This is awesome. Check this out. So if I go back over to home and if I want to, let's say if I go to announcements, if I want to get, I want to modify, how do I get do I get notifications for this? You'll see here that the notifications, there are email notifications. So send me an email whenever someone posts a new post inside of announcements or one of the other spaces. Should I get an in-app notification? That's adding a little bell up here to say like, hey, something happened up here and I wanted to get a notification. Or should I get a mobile push notification? Now, if you don't, the last one only shows up if you've installed the mobile app and logged into your account, then mobile notifications is an option here. And again, don't worry about this stuff. You don't have access to this. You can also look at your entire notifications by going to your profile and clicking on notifications. And from here, you can manage your notifications across the board. So I have all mine turned on. I have a few default settings that are set up. You can go through and customize your settings as much as you like, okay? Oh, this is awesome. Watch this. Here's a new feature. Now, I haven't uploaded. This isn't going to be there for all courses on day one, but here we go. So as a little bit of a preview, I have an email course for the Teams on-ramp. Oh, that's right. Nothing is published yet. I have an email course for the Teams on-ramp email course that I have. I have a video version of it that's published. It's going to be published pretty soon. That's going to be, it's a free course. Check this out. So if I go into that video, so I can watch the video right there is the course. Cool. Scroll down. There's a couple notes there, but check this out. If I go to show transcript, I now have full transcripts and I can jump to a specific part in the video and even turn on closed captioning. Pretty cool, yeah? Now, some of these links you see up here are like download. No videos will be allowed for download, but that's just some admin stuff that I have access to. And you can always go full screen and I see if this works. Yep, I can pop it out as a picture-in-picture and make it bigger so I can move it around on my screen, even if the browser isn't even on the window, so I can go through and have an easier way to go through and to manage, to view the videos in my course. So big improvement there as well. Okay, so obviously a whole lot of stuff that's going on. I'm really excited to go through and to share all of this with you and to have everybody get in. So, and there's actually, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There is more coming. I just want to get people in and be able to get you access to your course and get off the old platform as fast as possible. Part because my annual renewal is coming up in about a week or two, and I need to get off of this so that I don't get charged for it. Okay, now let me jump back over to slides and let me just talk a little bit more about this before we wrap up. And I can see I'm right on time, so I'm going to be kind of quick with this. So, first of all, what about Discord? So the way it's going to work is that once the migration happens and once once the invites are all sent out, Discord is going to be retired in favor of the new community. Now, once it has been retired, and that's just me calling it retired, I'm not deleting it because I know there's a lot of content in there, but it's going to be marked as read-only, so you will not be able to post or respond to any questions that are over there. No new members will be allowed to join either. It will be completely shut down, and it'll only be available to those of you who are already in. Now, I am not migrating any of the content from Discord over to the new community for a couple reasons. Right now, I have no plans to do that, but as you see on the side here, I would love to get your input on this and your feedback. Why am I not doing that? Number one, I found the same questions came up over and over and over, and people weren't using search to go find stuff. So why would I migrate content over if no one's going to be using search to go find it? I hope they would, but whatever. Number two, if I went through the process of migrating everything, I can't do it until you're inside Circle, so that I can when I create the post, I can attribute it to the actual author or the responses to the author. Do I want to do that? I don't know. The other part is that migrating the content, it is a very manual process. So could I automate it? Yes, but I'd have to write a project that would actually go through and to do all the entire migration. So right now, no content is planning on coming over. Discord is going to be locked. It's going to be read only. If you're already in there, you can get to the content. You can see your old questions. You can see your old responses. So if you use it as a resource, and I know a bunch of you were, you can still get to it. However, it is not going to, I'm not planning on moving anything over. That will stay like that for the time being. I have no timeline, but ultimately I will delete the Discord server. Ultimately. I'm curious to get your input if you think having all of that backdated content is important. If I can't backdate it and it would all show up as brand new content, I don't think I'm going to go through and do the migration. But I just really wonder, is it even valuable to even do this? So I'd love to get your input. Drop it in the chat. I'll start a discussion once everybody's in on the in the new community, and people can just comment and let me know what they think about it. Okay, so the next thing is, okay, when is this going to happen? And what can you expect? So here's what you can expect. So what do you have to do to get ready for this? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Here's what's going to happen. This Friday, in 3 days, this Friday, on April the 18th, you are going to receive 2 emails. One is going to be sent, or they're both going to be sent to the email address that you use to log into your course library at courses.voitanos.io today. So the way you go access the course library, when you go to the Voitanos website and click login at the top, the email address you use to go log into the course library, I'm sending 2 emails to that address. One of them is going to be a notice that the migrations are happening, and here's what you can expect, and here's what you can look for. The second one that you're going to get is not going to come from me. It's going to come from Circle. You are going to get an invite from Voitanos, and the email address is there on the slide. This is a screenshot of an invite that I sent myself this morning to one of my test accounts. You can see here that it's coming from no reply at notification.circle.so. So this is, make sure that you're going to be looking in your junk. I can't tell you what time you're going to get these. I literally have thousands of people that I have to import, and I have to do it in lots of batches. I'm working with a vendor on this who's helped me set up all my Circle stuff. We have a 4-hour meeting on Friday where we are just going to be going through this nonstop, and I'm building these huge CSVs of all these different permutations on what people are supposed to have access to. So keep an eye out for this to go get this. You're going to see that the subject line of the email is going to be Andrew Connell has invited you to join the Voitanos community on Circle. Period, full stop. So what do you do when you get that invitation? What you're going to do is this is what you have to do to get in the new community. You're going to accept the invitation by clicking that accept invitation link in that email. That is going to take you to Circle, and it's going to prompt you to either create your account or log in with your existing Circle account if you're already in another Circle community. You can create a new one or you can do an existing one. If you do a new one though, just know you're going to have to do your mobile app. You're going to have to go log out and log back in when you want to jump between different communities. It's a pain if you do that. But if you want to do that, that's totally up to you. When you go to either create your account or log in as a new account, you will then be prompted with some very basic profile and privacy configuration. So when I will ask you for what is your job title, what is your bio, your email is what your sign-in is. So I will already have your email. And what do you want your name to be? Please put a picture on there. Like, we don't need like initials, like we can go to a Teams meeting where everybody just has their initials on there. I hope you put your picture in. But it's very, very basic stuff. The privacy configuration, I have the default settings set up, but you will have the option to hide your email. You'll have the option to, I think the default is to hide your email. So you can turn that, you can toggle that to show your email to everybody else in the community. You have the ability to disable DMs from other people in the community. You will, that will allow you to, that will, by default, they're turned on. So you will be allowed to DM and send DMs. If you don't have them turned on, then you can't send them either. Or you can send them, but you can't. But nobody can respond to you, so they're just going to ignore you. And then the third privacy option is it's set to I think it's set to turn on, is enabled. So should my profile show up in the member directory, and if you don't want to be in the member directory, you can turn that off. All right. Once you do that, you will then have immediate access to the community and all of your existing courses, and you can download the app from the Apple App Store or from the Play Store, from the Google Play Store if you're on Android. And there's also a tablet version of them as well. And the app is really good. The app is really, really good. It's called Circle Community, but you'll see it's in the link at the bottom left of the spaces. And furthermore, I also listed as a lesson in the Start Here. I will then recommend go watch the Start Here course. If you send questions about stuff that I cover in the Start Here course, I am simply going to respond with a link and say, go watch that lesson. I've already answered that question. I'm not doing it again. Then also you will be prompted to update your profile. When you created your account and joined Circle, it was very basic profile information. If you go back and edit your profile, there's a lot more stuff that you can fill in. And that's really there just to participate in the community and for other people to know, like, hey, you're an expert at this, or you're looking for a job, or those kinds of things. You're available for hire, etc. You can put all that stuff in your profile and how to contact you and everything outside of the Circle community. You then, I am then going to ask, and you don't have to, but I would appreciate it, to then go to the introduction space and introduce yourself. You can do it via text, or you can do it via video. My hope is that you do it via video. Video is great, but if you don't want to do video and you just want to do text, I'll take whatever you can give me here. All right. So that's what you're going to be able to expect. All of that is going to happen on Friday. If you don't get the emails, the email invites that I say are coming on Friday, if you don't get them by like Saturday, then in the future there will be, when you go to log into your old course library, there will be a link that will take you over to the site that will. There'll be a link that will take you over to. There'll be a page on the Voitanos website that you'll get redirected to. There'll be a form on there. You can submit a ticket, and I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of people submitting tickets. So I will respond to you within a couple days. Biggest thing is, like, who are you? What did you have access to? And give me all of the email addresses that you've used so I can go find you in the old platform. The sooner you do it, the better. Sooner access. It's not an immediate turnaround thing, but I do expect that while I have gone through great pains, and the vendor that I'm working with, she has also gone through great pains to make sure that this is set up and that this is going to run as smoothly as possible. Look, cards on the table. I've got over 10,000 students that have bought and run through my courses, from paid courses to free courses. I've got over 15,000 that have gone through both paid and free courses over the last 8 years. I absolutely expect that some people are going to fall through the cracks. So I just need to know like what your old account was, because when you go to create a new account, you have the ability to use a different email address than you used in the past. And if you did that and I can't find you with your Circle account, and you say, hey, I'm missing this course, I'm like, I don't have any record of that email. Who are you? What other emails have you used? And because a lot of people use Gmail and personal emails, it's not always easy to figure it out. So I may need more info from you, and you have to go back and forth. But we'll get it all solved, all resolved. All right. I know I've gone a few minutes over here. I know I've gone like 15 minutes over. I really wanted to show you this community that's up, and I wanted you to have the ability to go through and to take a look at all of this. I want to thank you very much for sticking around. If you've got questions, I'm happy to stick around and answer any questions. You can find me afterwards on these different social media platforms. This is where I'm most active, from Blue Sky to LinkedIn to to YouTube. And the next office hours, I'm saying it's May 20th. I think I have to move that based on a conflict. But once you're in the community, hey, all good. You're going to be able to see this you'll see this as an event. And if you RSVP for it and I have to move it to a different date, you'll get a notification, an update on the calendar invite. So you'll get an update for it. Cool. Awesome. That is everything. I am more than happy, as I said, to answer any questions. If anybody has a question you want to put in the chat, I saw just, let's see, Narav, answer your question about the platform backing this. The website is done. The www.voitanos.io is all done with, it's hosted on Azure, and it is implemented using Hugo, the static site generator. I use Tailwind v4, and it's a custom design that was done by my designer. There's a lot more stuff that's coming to it too. I had to rush to get the site out, and then I had to focus on getting the new community up and running. I can't wait for Friday to be on the other side of Friday so I can go back and actually fix a lot of performance issues that I'm having with the site. Like there's like a 4 meg JavaScript file that gets downloaded that I need to fix that with a CDN, but I didn't want to go do that and then have something with that screw up and break the site, and then I got to go and then take away from the community. So I have a whole lot of stuff that's coming. By the end of April, I feel like everything is going to be nice and tight and clean. But I know, but the site works right now, so it's not really an issue. Once you download that 4 meg file, it gets cached. So I think it's actually a 2.5 or a 3 meg file, but either way. Adam, if you're still here, you asked, you were a former student. I was a former student. Does that mean I can log in and see the new UI? Apologies if I missed this email. You did not miss the email because I haven't sent it out yet. This is the first time I'm sharing this with anybody, is in this office hours. You will get full access to everything. Today you don't have access to it because you have not received the invite yet. That will go out on Friday. However, as a former student of my Teams accelerator, if you want to join the current accelerator, you will get access to all of the invites and everything. You just need to reach out to me. I sent an email out to everybody who was a former Teams accelerator student, as some of them have already connected and are in the chat here. I am more than happy to go through and to extend an invite to you as well to join the current accelerator. And I can do that within, if you sent the request right now to my email, I could add you in. I could send the invite and you'd get access to the accelerator right away. Those are the people who are in today. They're only seeing the accelerator. They're not seeing all the other courses that they may have enrolled in the past. That's what's going to come on Friday. I'm just focused to make sure that the accelerator was set up. But if you want to get in, you can totally get in today. Just send me an email the way you've done it in the past, or look for the email that I've sent about the current accelerator if you want access, and just respond to that. Cool. Awesome. Bill, I sent that. I don't think I missed the email because I sent the email out to everybody. I remember seeing you're on there as well. So if you just shoot me an email, I can make sure that I can get you, that I can do the same thing. I can send you an invite as well. Those emails go out through the same platform that I use to send out my newsletter. So if someone has unsubscribed, I had no, like, that's the way I was sending all those emails out. My old platform never gave me a way to send like the old course library. I could not send blast emails out from that. So I could only send emails out from my, it's called my email management system, my email service provider, my ESP. And that's where I send my newsletter out. And so people who had unsubscribed from the newsletter or had marked it as junk, I was blocked from being able to send you emails. That's one of the other reasons why I'm moving to this new platform. What I'm doing though is, unfortunately, the only way that I can contact all of my old students is to take everybody who's not in my ESP, who is in the old course library, import them into the ESP, and just hope nobody's like, I unsubscribed from you. I don't want to ever hear from you again. Like, sorry, it was just one time. So that's the only way I can go through, and I can deal with it and let people know what's going on with it. So yeah, I think that's it. So Bill, yeah, if you want to join the team, you were in the Teams Accelerator. If you want to join, shoot me an email, andrew@voitanos.io. You do that today. I will send you an invite from Circle. You'll get in, you'll get access to it. You'll be good to go. Maybe my email went to junk. I'm not saying you unsubscribed from me. I'm just saying that was a common thing. But if for some reason it was somehow being blocked, it's all good. I got the response to be add to the no new response. I'm not sure I understand that. Either way, shoot me a message, shoot me an email. I'll get you in. I'll get you in. There could just be a thing like this with the emails, or if you wrote me back and said, hey, I wanted to be in the Accelerator and I didn't add you, that's on me. Then I dropped the ball. And but I will get it fixed. The Accelerator starts tomorrow at 11 a.m. So I'd love to have you. You get access to all the new content and everything. Cool. All right, I can see we've still got a handful of people still here. I will give it another, let's see, what time is it now? I've got 17 minutes past the hour. I will close this down, this call down at 20 minutes past the hour. So that gives you about 2 minutes to post a question in the chat. And I'm more than happy to answer your question. I'm curious what you guys thought of what I showed you with the new course library. I didn't even show you one of my favorite features. Oh my gosh. Watch this. Dark mode. No, my website doesn't have that. For those of you who have been in a former Accelerator too, I'll explain this in a separate message to all of you, but you'll see all of your old content is going to be here as well. Now, you won't see it today. You will see it when we do the import on Friday, but ultimately all of this old content is going to get deleted, and you're just going to have access to what's called the latest cohort content, which will have the weekly resources, the recording from each one of the calls, and the recording from each one of the office hours. So in the future, Bill, Joe, Adam, Dax, and Savvy, and I think that's everybody. If it's somebody else, I may have missed them. You will always have access to latest cohort content. And we were not, like in the past, we used to use Microsoft Teams for all the collaboration. We're using Teams meetings to hold the live calls, but we are not using Teams for the collaboration. Everything is happening here. So what will happen is, like for the call tomorrow, this is the call that we're doing tomorrow. Once this call has concluded, it will go into the past events. It will, and I will take the recording and I will come over to latest cohort content and I will add it to, this is the view that you guys get when you first go to it. I will add it to the weekly course lecture with all the homework and everything. The video will show up at the top. So you'll always get access to the latest content will be listed here, and it will stay that way in the future. So if you were in cohort 1, you will always have access to latest cohort content. When I start a new cohort, all of the old content will be hidden. So the new live students will be going through the cohort sequentially, and then you will get access as I'm going through it. You will get access to that. And if you want to join the cohort, you just have to let me know, and I can add you to the list of students for the current one, so you can just jump in. Dan, you said, will a replay of this be available? You joined late. Absolutely. It's a YouTube live stream. Go to the exact same URL. In fact, if you replay it, this should be available almost immediately. The chat usually takes about 24 hours for YouTube to get that resynced and to get that to show up. So if you see me refer to some of that stuff, it will be, if you see me refer to like links that I posted in the chat, those won't show up in the recording until for about 24 to 48 hours. That's a YouTube thing. But yeah, same link to where, like what you're joining right now. When this thing finishes, if you hit refresh, you will see it. It will definitely be there. It'll also be available as a link, like when you go to the Voitanos website and you go to my webinars, you will see this is the one that we're doing right now. Sorry, no, it's not. This is the one that's on Thursday. So the site's already been rebuilt. You will find previous webinars like this one right here. This will take you to the one on YouTube that when I hit play, it might even go through and start playing. Let's see what happens. This is gonna be a little meta. It's showing me the live feed from it right now. It's showing me a little bit delayed, but yeah, you'll see it. You'll definitely see it on YouTube. Awesome. So there you go, Dan, Bill. I think I'm going to hear from you, Adam. If you want to join, same deal. Dax, you think this will be great for collaborating, meaning to only have one place to communicate? I agree. This is much better. I am in a lot of circle communities. I love this platform. I do it for so much stuff. And Dan, you're welcome. All right, I've gone 2 minutes past my overflow of 20 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it right here. Everybody, thank you very, 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 very much for showing up today. I really, really, really appreciate it. I am looking forward to seeing everybody flood my inbox with notifications that new members have added themselves to the community this coming Friday. Those invites are only for you. It is only going to be people who are registered for stuff and for classes. So you know that you're in good company. Hope to see everybody there. Please fill out your profile. Please watch the entire start here. Please do an introduction so everybody else can see it. Love to get this community going. And hey, you know, the other thing I'd love to see is some of you who have been really active in Discord. If it's just been like you and me going back and forth, reach out to me. Let's recreate some of those conversations and just kind of go back and forth in the community so that we can kind of repopulate some of that stuff. I'd love to do that. But we'll see. All right. Thanks, everybody. That's it. That's all we're going to do today. I hope all of you have a great rest of your day, great rest of the week. Keep an eye out for that email that's coming on Friday. Take care, everybody.